What's good, YouTube? You're back on S Motorsports. Today I'm going to be modifying the battery tray in the Trans Am to fit a new battery. So let me show you what I picked up. As in the Trans Am, the battery took a dump last fall and I need to get a new one. And with the Trans Am, I don't drive it all the time. I didn't want to spend big money on a battery, so I'll show you what I picked up. So what I ended up finding was a battery on Facebook. I got it for 70 bucks, brand new. The guy never used it, but it's a group size 78. And what I had in the Trans Am was this Optima battery that I've had for like literally 17 years. It's lasted a long time, but it is shot. It's got a short in there, and it is this D3478 size, which is a little bit smaller. So this one actually fit in the stock battery tray, no problem. And I thought these were the same size since it was a group 78, and I thought it was the same size. It's not. This doesn't quite fit in the area of the battery tray, so I needed to do something different. Well, I found this, which looked like might be a good solution, and I kind of checked it out already, and I think this is gonna work actually perfect. I mean, it's like it's almost made for it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in the Trans Am, this is the normal battery tray. A lot of guys do the 4th gen tray that mounts in here and has the coolant reservoir, but I have my reservoir going from here, and then it's going to like a little catch can kind of, or well, it's a little coolant reservoir tank that I got mounted underneath up in front of the radiator, which I like. It hides it really good. I mean, it's working good, so I didn't want to change that. I didn't want to cut this up and you know, modify it. So and the problem is that the group size 78 doesn't fit from here to here. It wants to hang over a little bit, and so it went nest down in here, and you couldn't hold it down with the normal hold down. So I was like, oh man, if I just could space this up a little bit, the battery could rest over a little bit, it would work pretty good. Well, that's what I'm gonna do. So this is the battery holder tray thing that I found. I got it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. Here's the part number. It's made for, I don't know, some Overlander, Chevy, I don't know. It works for a bunch of different vehicles. But when I saw this, looking at it, I was like, man, this should work pretty good, as this area I thought would fit down in the battery tray, and it kind of hangs over slightly. And I was like, boy, that might work really good. And it does. I'll show you how it fits now. Nice. Nice. So the only real modification that I had to do was I bent this back further to give me a little bit more room, which was easy. And then I put a tiny little chamfer on there right here, as it was kind of hitting a little bit. But then now, I mean, bam, look at how nice that fits in the battery tray. I mean, it's literally made for it. There's a tiny little gap, probably like, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it fits really good. It's like a little, you know, 1/8 inch, 3/16 gap there. I mean, it fits dang near perfect. So I'm gonna attach these with the 4 screws, and then I got a nice battery hold down, which before, my bolt was broken off, and I was putting a bolt through here and tightening with a nut on the underside. So this is actually gonna work really good. Now I don't have to do that, and I can attach the battery and remove it all from the top side. But what I'm gonna do is get this position in there exactly where I want it, mount it, and then the battery can hang off a little bit on both sides, and it'll fit no problem. Here's a little test fit of the battery. As you can see, it fits in there really nice. I got still a good amount of clearance here. You know, I'll take this off, but you know, because it does kick the battery up a little bit. But honestly, I think that'll work really good.
I have my same normal connections as always, and I get the 800 cold cranking amps with the group size 78, which is great for a V8. You know, the other ones I think are the group 75 that I think is standard in these 3rd gen cars are a little less, like 690, 700, which is still probably adequate, but it's nice to have a little bit more reserve capacity as well. So I have this positioned, and now I'm just gonna mark it with the Sharpie so I know my spots. Some of the holes are kind of open already, call it, which is fine. I'll just have to use a washer, and then I'll drill these out. This one probably don't even need to drill out. That should be good. All right, so we can just place the battery tray in here then. Make sure our holes are lining up, which they look good. So I'm gonna drop some hardware in there. So like I said, I'm just using 1/4 inch hardware because that's what I got. And I have locking nuts and stuff. This will work good. And I got big washers on there. As you can see, some of the metal is kind of thin in the battery tray. So I wanna make sure that you use a washer. So I'll get the hardware tightened up for the battery tray, and then we'll slap the battery in. So I got the battery tray bolted down. As you can see, she's solid. I mean, it's not going anywhere, and it honestly looks like it belongs. It has the mount and everything, so let's slap the battery in and see how it looks. Final install, I put the battery in and I got her hooked up. As you can see, it fits just like stock. As you can see, this battery sits a little bit higher than my last one, which isn't really an issue. I got plenty of clearance here, but I had like my air filter kind of like resting on the battery almost. So I just had to move it back a little bit and tweak this bracket. Actually, I think this is gonna work pretty good where it's positioned. I just gotta get a nut to hold that in place. But obviously, that's gonna all go away when the 6.0 goes in here, as I'm just gonna have, you know, one 4-inch tube going over to that side for an intake. So I'm not really too worried about that right now, as that's gonna all get changed anyways, but I can start the car at least and get it going, as I didn't wanna spend a ton of money on a battery, and this worked out pretty good. And this allows me to run basically whatever battery size I want, because with this, it can hang over the edge a little bit, which it doesn't even do. I mean, it fits perfect. So I think this worked pretty good, as it did save me from having to get a different battery, as you know, this was a pretty cheap one I found on Facebook, and I made it work. And if you guys need something similar, I would recommend that. It fit almost like it was made for it, and that'll allow you to run basically kind of whatever battery size you want. In this configuration with it sitting on that stand, I would be a little weary of the top terminal ones, as that would maybe make it a little bit high, but this Group 78 is perfect, and it gets you 800 cold cranking amps, which is perfect for a V8 engine. All right, guys, that's it for today. Make sure to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.